Well, a typical day for Carol and I is just, it's waking up at about 5:30, 6 o'clock, getting ready to take children to school, making sure children are dressed and have their breakfast. In the meantime, we're also feeding animals that need feeding early. 160 monkeys here as well that need to be fed and looked after. And some of them are taken to the vet, some of them are taken to be released again, some are moved from one cage to another. And then it's the preparing of the food for the monkeys. We sort of try and do those things systematically. And then, of course, everything we do is subject to the possibility of intervention from a phone call. Stephen, hello? A monkey is electrocuted. Your dog's bitten a monkey. Can you keep an eye on that monkey? Where are you? Our lives are dictated by our phones. If the phone rings and it's a rescue, we've got to drop everything and go and do that rescue. We have lost all concept of days of the week and time. Everything just flows into one. And it's just the way it is. So I think with all people involved on a voluntary basis with rescue organizations, it's a 24/7, 365 days a year. Nothing else matters other than you wake up in the morning and do what you did yesterday, and hopefully it's not as dramatic or not as sad as the previous day.
No monkey should spend its life in a cage. They should be wild, and if they can't go wild, then they need to have an awesome quality of life. We owe it to them.
In starting off with this, we were taking in a few monkeys at a time, and we were treating them and we were getting them back out there again. But as we became more and more involved, it took more of our time. Eventually it took our jobs, it took everything, because you cannot do anything else except work with monkeys. Running an operation like this is so enormous that it is literally bankrupted both Carol and I, to the point where every bit of disposable asset that we've had has gone into bringing us to the point that we're at now. We are both unemployed volunteers who are actually not earning a single cent for what we're doing. If we had to give up on this because of a lack of funding, I don't think I could live in an area where I couldn't drive my car. I couldn't drive around and see vervet monkeys and not be able to help them. Sorry about that. Well, the reality of the situation is that we don't have the resources. We have the will, we have the time, we've made it, we have sacrificed everything we have to be available to do this work. But if we don't get support from the public, we cannot do it. We cannot help these animals, we cannot take them to the vet, we cannot get in our car and drive out there. If a car has no petrol in, you cannot drive it. And there will be nobody to look after them. And it's a fact, it's not an emotional outburst, it's not an appeal for fun, it's not like we're trying to get anything for ourselves. We're trying to do this for the monkeys. And if we cannot do it for ourselves, we cannot do it for the monkeys either. We do need support. We need somebody or some bodies or some corporations, some organizations and individuals to help us help the monkeys. We'll do the work. Just give us the resources that we need. And the only resource we need from you is money. It sounds very basic, it sounds very crass to say that. But just show us the money and we'll do the work.
I can't anymore. I'm very glad this is a good way to go out.
Another weird day.